Alright, hey guys. So I just watched this movie called The Djinn. I've been waiting to watch this for a while now. Finally got a hold of it, so I managed to watch it. And I have to say, this is an interesting movie. This entire movie, most of it, at least 90% of it, happens in a single like apartment. Like a little apartment. Uh, yeah, it's like a little apartment with like two rooms or something. It's a really tiny apartment, and the main character in the story is this kid, right? And let me tell you, this kid's acting performance in this film was absolutely superb, right? He could not have done it better. He absolutely nailed it. But as for the concept and the way the story works and the way the Jinn works and all that, I feel it was really subpar. And like the Jinn is scary when you look at it, and the kids, like the intensity that, look at this is really creepy, right? So it's pretty creepy and all that, and the intensity that the kid gives you with his facial expressions, and the decisions he makes, and the scenes where they actually show the jump scares of the Jinn and all that, and the anticipation of the kid and whatever, it's really creepy. It's just that besides looking creepy, the Jinn doesn't really do much. Like more than often, the Jinn is just running around in this little 2 or 3 roomed like apartment in a single floor. It's a very small room. Like it's just in that apartment room, right? And it's not like they're leaving the what do you call this, that unit, to go to another apartment unit. It's all in the single unit. And you'd expect the Jinn to be able to catch this kid, but man, he is slippery. He's always finding a way to do things. And it would have been interesting if maybe the Jinn, like it was shown that the Jinn doesn't walk fast, or it only comes to attack you if you fall asleep or something like that. But no, it is coming for him, but he always plot conveniently gets himself out of certain situations, all the way until the point where he is able to cast a counter spell to send the Jinn back. So he actually is the one that summons the Jinn initially, because he wants to get his voice back, because he actually loses his voice, and he wants to be able to speak again, and he feels that it's one of the things that he misses, so he wish he has a voice. And the Jinn does come to actually grants him the ability to speak, but in exchange it actually comes for his soul or something like that. So when it does come for a soul, it looks for him. He's running around in this single unit apartment, and the Jinn is, taking the form of different people to come after him, which is what's really the fear factor in this. So he takes different forms. He takes the form of his mother. He takes all these strange forms, and he comes after him. And don't get me wrong, his performance is excellent, but like it makes no sense for the Jinn not be able to catch you in like a room. Like, come on, if it's so scary and so incredible, it should have just caught you. Otherwise, you should just be able to just open the doors and just run wherever, or something like that. Like they didn't even show how maybe he can't open a window, or maybe he can't do certain things because the Jinn is keeping him trapped or something, and that is the Jinn's domain or something. He doesn't really bring that challenge. It also, like, probably they could have actually given him some sort of added elements to play with, like the fact that he has to redeem the respect for why he lost his voice, or the fact that he has to realize that his voice is not everything. Maybe these things could have played a bigger role, but this is more so a very, very indie looking film that could have been probably done by anyone with a hand camera, and this kid in like a dark room with just one other person playing makeup. And yeah, I feel that this is like the good horror film that you get to watch in high school. When you have like a film contest and the high schoolers actually present to you like a horror film, this is what it looks like. This is what it reminds me of. Like when I was in college, there were some multimedia students who could come up with films like this that looked like this. It has this really creepy, really indie story. It doesn't really care for its plot or anything like that. It just focuses on showing you how they can actually bring the fear elements and the chill elements, and just show you what they're capable of with their makeup, their talent of cinematography, just to show you scary moments. But as I said, there's no real depth of story, no real purpose to this. Besides the fact that this kid is just amazing with his expressions, and finally he finds a way to put the Djinn away, only to realize that the Djinn finally still comes to take the life of his, I think it's, I'm not sure if his dad or his uncle or something, but basically the guy who's with him in the film. And the Jinn, I think it's his dad. The Jinn takes his dad, and yeah, it's his dad. So the Jinn takes his dad, and as a result, the kid actually gets to keep his voice, but loses his dad instead. So it still takes a soul in exchange for the gift it is given, which is his voice. But yeah, it's a very simple film. It's a very ordinary indie film. For once, IMDb has given a rating that's actually close to what it actually is, and I think this is because this kind of movies are not influenced by big studios, so you can clearly tell that there's no paid reviews, right? There's no large group of people from the studio, because if you think about it, like anything like Warner Brothers or Disney or what's this, Universal Studios or whatever, these people have like tens of like thousands of staff, right? They have thousands of staff. If they tell even 8,000 staff to go and put in reviews, they already have like 500 plus positive 9-star reviews. But for certain films that are a little bit more indie like this, I feel it really stays true to the tone where you realize that people are not rating it because they're paid to. So you can see like 3,000 people voting for it, and the average rating that it gets is a 4.7. Now let's just see what some people actually say about this. Like, I want to know what their thoughts are. Just know, okay, in defense of this movie, okay, Kid is good and there are some great jump scares. That's true, I agree. The Kid is really good and there's some great jump scares. Great tension, absolutely. Most childish story, that's true. I feel that this story is actually closer to just being a psychological factor where, this child just can't accept the way certain things are happening and therefore is trapped in some sort of a nightmare as a result. Stupid and not thought at all. Yeah, okay, fine, fair enough. Simple premise delivered well. Decent horror, boring and low budget, offensively bad, not good. So anyway, I think I've given you guys my points and my concept and my gist of what I felt was okay and not so okay about this film. This is an R-rated film, but I feel there's no real elements of disturbing violence or whatever. It's just that the Jinn itself, when it makes appearance, is pretty scary, and the jump scares are pretty creepy. But the kid's performance is just superb. I think whoever this guy is, if he keeps performing this way and he keeps getting the right scripts to, because this is like pretty much a solo film. It was carried purely by this kid. And I think if he keeps training or like going to acting classes and whatever, he may be a superb actor in the future. Great, bright future for him. But as for the film itself, let me pull up a rating here. There you go, another 2 out of 10 film. I could actually give this a 3, because of the performance of this kid, as I said. But for the if I have to judge it as a film, I have to judge it as a film. So it's a 2 out of 10. But in defense of the kid, I think it is a great indie movie and probably a really nice, simple jump scare horror movie to watch. And to be honest, this movie is actually quite long, right? Yeah, it's about a 90-minute film, but it feels like one of those short films that you watch on YouTube. Like YouTube has these short horror films. Maybe I should watch some of those and review for you guys. There are some pretty interesting um, short films that are horror films, and some of those short films actually are quite creepy. And I think if this was like a short film on YouTube, I'd probably rate it more. Like I probably rated it a 4 or 5 out of 10 because of just how impressive it seems. With just a single kid's performance. But knowing that this isn't the case, it's actually a feature film. So I feel that it has to be rated as a feature film. So it is a 2 out of 10. Should you watch this film? If you like the feeling of watching a low budget horror film, you should watch it. Otherwise, there's really nothing special about this film. The story is non-existent almost. The only thing, as I said, that carries this film is this kid, and it's just amazing. If you want to be as impressed as me as I am with this kid, you have to watch it just for that sake, right? So that's about it for me. I don't want to drag on this too long. Uh, it's a decent, indie movie. If this was a short film, as I said, it would have been superb. This is like one of those films you watch in college and you're like, oh man, that's really cool. How did you do that? Those jump scares look pretty cool. But hey, if you release it out to cinemas, no one's gonna want to watch it. It feels like that, right? But this was released to cinemas. I think at least. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys the next one. Take care.